So I got these back pieces on here. They're not fully fastened down. I need to go get more of these lags. I showed those earlier. These two pieces are settled, and then there's like a little strip that goes through there. It needs one more screw right there. And then this back piece needs, I think, like 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 of them. Sorry, 7, because, yeah, 7 more. So I grossly underestimated how many of those lags I'm going to need. I'm going to need 20 more than the 16 that I already put in here. Part of that is because I, miscalculated how many I was going to need for this. I would have needed fewer. If I had done this with just 3 sheets like I originally planned, I wouldn't need 3 lags right there next to each other, and then there will be 3 there, and 3 there, and 3 there. So it's like, whatever. It's not a big deal. I was happy with how these sank in and pulled all the styrofoam together, and I can tell by reaching under here that it didn't come through the support, so that's really, really good. I'm really happy about that. I need to put the base on, so that's why I kind of moved to this metal work here. And then I was practicing my welding. I've never welded before, so this is first weld I've ever made. It's pretty crappy. I just practiced here. It's terrible. Yeah. That shows, I think the most criticism I'm going to get is probably from that stupid weld. But keep in mind, literally, this is the first weld I have ever done in my life. I have never welded before. It's pretty bad. A grinder and paint make the welder I ain't. So, here's my grinder, and I've got some paint, and I'll go get more, and this thing will look great. With this frame on the outside, it's not going to bend or flex too much. And really, I just wanted this to be able to mount the leveling feet too. So yeah, get the frame done. Put the remaining lags in the back of this, and then I can stand it up. I have no reason not to stand it up after that. got this frame all welded up. Some of these I've ground down a little bit here, so these are not pretty welds, but that's okay. You're not going to really see it, and it's going to be painted, so I think it'll be fine. This one maybe over here is my best one, but not terrible, not great. It'll hold. I'm not worried about this at all. So these are the feet, and I didn't want a tapped hole to be on here, so I got the 4-inch stuff so that I could inset, make sure that it was in a good position where it wasn't sticking out. Yeah, I got a little bit ahead of myself on this one. So the frame is done, drilled and tapped there for 3/8/16. So here's what happened. I knew this frame was just going to be a little bit snug. I thought that where it was going to be binding up on this back edge. So when I put it on, I thought, okay, it's tight, yeah. And then so I shaved a little bit off the back here and started getting it on there, and it was still tight, but then I couldn't really get it off, and I didn't want to like crowbar it off of there and damage the bottom. So I just kind of went for it. I just put clamps on there, kind of like I said I was going to do, just put the clamps on. Well, this isn't going anywhere. I can tell you that. I mean, it is firmly affixed. I mean, I screwing it into the wood would just be totally superfluous. It would not accomplish it. I mean, this is like a massive interference fit right now. So it's really squeezing on there. I can't get it off. There's no way it's coming off of there. The problem I made here was that I really wanted to paint this before I put it on here, and I didn't do that. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter because you're not ever going to see this part. And so what if it gets painted? It's probably fine. And on the side here, the plywood is going to come down to here anyway. It's going to come down pretty far. So you won't see any of this. And you won't certainly see the bottom. Hey, made some pretty good progress today. Got a pretty good amount of work done for Saturday. So what I did is I finished sort of that upper shelf area. I still need to put the foam on the top, so it'll look a lot like this assembly here. So here's the outside, and then the 2-inch, the 1.5 inch, and then the plywood. So it'll just continue around the top there. I started putting these side panels on. It's going pretty good. Originally, I wasn't going to put this piece on right here. I didn't really want to have that on the front like that, but I really did need something to put these lags through, so they go through and fasten to here. I actually am just drilling the hole all the way through, and then I can kind of see, just so it doesn't split, and then I can see where the screw comes out, and it seems to work pretty well. The other notable thing here was these blocks right here. These blocks are for the door hinges. The door hinges will be on the outside, and I needed a good anchor point, so I sacrificed a little bit of foam there. There really wasn't another way that I could think to do it, and this foam here is less R value than this, so I didn't want to take away from this one. I'd rather take away from this one. The door hinges are these massive things here. They're plenty big for what I'm doing here, so basically those will attach like this. So they'll screw through these holes here into the block back there. And then these are pretty cool. So this will go into and so the door will have this piece. I think traditionally you're supposed to mount this to the side. That piece goes onto the door. These are pretty cool. They're spring loaded. These twist and they cam out. And if you keep going, it'll cam all the way. Let's see here. There we go. And it'll stay open, and then closes, it'll automatically close, or it'll keep it closed. I'm not relying on that to keep the door closed. I will have a latch through the middle. I think this is actually coming together pretty well. And I think after I get the sides on, I'm going to actually put that's the cooling unit, and it's going to go right there. So I need to figure out how to mount that, and before I get too carried away with the top, because there's also a top vent, I need to vent it out the top. I think also I might need to vent it out the back or the side. I don't remember. I need to look at it. So yeah, before I get any farther along, I want to really make sure I know where I need to vent everything, and I'd rather cut away the material now while I have it open. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm kind of trying to get this together with scraps here at the moment. Not really. I have enough material. And somehow I ended up with a bunch of extra foam, which doesn't really make sense. I don't know how I miscalculated on that, but didn't quite get enough plywood. There is actually enough plywood here, because I am using this. This is a half a sheet. There's almost another half a sheet back there. You know, there's a bunch of scraps over there. These are going to be for the top. So I did get enough. It would have been nice to have had a cut sheet to really understand how much waste I was going to have and make sure that I understood the spacing. So the moral of the story is that if you're going to do this, make sure that you plan everything. Don't try to wing it. I think this will be fine. I'm not even really upset at the mismeasurements at the top or on the sides. Yeah, it would have been nice to have had that correct. So anyway, We'll see where I get with it tomorrow, and we'll bring you back.